Yes, heading over to see Chef Bob in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen. You're giving me the apron because it looks like we're going to be busy making steaks with Kahlua. How'd you come up with that combination there, Chef Bob?
I guess there was a time when a lot of people were doing a lot of coffee rubs and, taking the coffee and actually doing the rubs on it, seasoned rubs. And I just kind of said, well, Kahlua works, and then why not use what is traditionally like a Mexican type of sauce used in chocolate and moles. And so it just kind of tied together and called it a mocha.
Very good. So what do we need for this rub for the steaks, first of all?
Well, actually, we're just doing a marinade, a real quick marinade. And, of course, you can skip the marinade and just do it, grill your steak and make a salsa.
Okay.
One or two ways, whatever we want to do. But we're going to start with some nice cuts of New York strip. Like we talked about last week, we did short ribs.
The short ribs, and you braised those last week.
Braised those. It was a process where you basically brown off your meat and then add some liquid to it, and then you let it cook slowly for an hour and a half or so.
In the oven.
In the oven, or you can do stovetop, either way, covered. But then you want to kind of let that time to break down those fibers and break down the cartilage and everything, so it makes it tender enough to eat. This New York strip comes off the side of the beef from near and it's a less worked piece of muscle that is going to be more tender and good for grilling and these kind of applications.
So I guess maybe considered a better cut of meat, a little bit more expensive.
A little bit more expensive, and you do pay for what you get, but it's you'll have more and you have less of the cartilages and just connective tissues. But we're going to kind of quickly throw it together here. You got the steaks here, and these are really trimmed well from Mike over at the market at Tazewell.
Thank you, Mike.
And yeah, he did a real good job.
Appreciate
and
it.
These are choice, and they're Stockman Dakota Angus beef that we do carry now. So I don't want to throw that plug in there.
Pick that up over at
but we're going to go through a real quick little marinator. Start with Kahlua.
How much?
I want you to do about a cup of that.
All right. You're going to eyeball that, aren't you? So I'm going to eyeball that.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Because I would add a little bit more, and that would.
You can always add, and always make it your own, like we always talk. And then this is like an espresso or
and what is that?
Espresso coffee.
Oh, okay. That's espresso coffee.
Yeah, a little Worcestershire here.
All of it?
Yeah, all of that.
All right.
Okay, and you can give that a mix. And
a little bit of a mix? Yeah.
And then we're going to go ahead and throw our steaks right into this.
Oh, right there in the bag. Oh, you're really famous for the easy steps. So putting everything in the bag and then
I don't like to clean up afterwards if I don't have to. If you want to throw those in there.
I don't blame you. I absolutely can. Okay. My hands are clean.
There they are.
I think.
And then we'll just go ahead and add the marinade. And then, like on the recipe, it says marinate for 6 hours or overnight. Best thing, the longer you marinate it to a point is going to add more flavor to it. Okay. So, and then we just want to make sure that covers real well here.
All right, and we'll stick it in the fridge,
Stick it in the fridge.
And you're also famous for having done the homework already. So you've got one already done?
Right. We have one already here. And we're going to go ahead and show how the searing process. Let me get these things out of the way here.
So I will move that for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you go ahead and get going, Chef Bob.
Okay.
So you're going to heat up some olive oil in a pan because we want to sear it?
We're going to sear these, right. And actually sear them, and actually if you want it, if they're thin enough, you can go ahead and finish them off. We're going to go ahead and take these out.
Now, will this go in the oven, or will it just stay in the pan?
Well, today, because they are a little bit thicker steaks, we're going to finish them in the oven.
Okay.
And because we need to move on a little bit. What I like to usually take is the steaks out.
Okay.
And pat them.
Oh, pat them dry, so get some of the excess marinade off.
Right.
All right.
Put those on there and let you
So we're going to do that, and then put them in the olive oil,
and then
heated olive oil, and sear them.
And sear them.
And then I know you've got another dish we're working on for the next segment.
The next segment, we're going to do some mashed plantains. And we did some plantains last week, but this is going to be more of a savory one to go. We don't want it to kind of battle the flavors, out here. So, and we'll go ahead and just...
This is a lot of steak, by the way. Definitely smells good already. All right, we're going to put this here in the olive oil, the heated olive oil. Sear that, work on the plantain dish coming up in the next segment. All right, guys, back to you.
3.
All right, we're having steaks for breakfast with Chef Bob from Farm Fresh, Kahlua and Steaks, and you have...
I went ahead and browned them off to a point, and they're a little bit under because we're going to finish it because of timing on the show. We're going to finish it in the oven, just throw it in for about 5 minutes. And, so those are off on the side, just kind of resting a little bit.
And here's what's left behind, the olive oil and the stuff from the marinade.
Well, actually, I took the marinade, and I took it in, and remember that little browning on the bottom of the pan?
Yeah.
We don't want to let that go. We want to bring that into some flavor here.
Do something with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to finish off the sauce here real quickly. If you want to add a little bit of the beef stock right there in the box, just add a little bit of that. You can add water, like I live in Chesapeake, and we don't have seasoned water there, although it's priced like it is.
Right.
But, you know, so we're going to go ahead and add this.
Seasoned water. That was pretty funny.
Okay. And then we're going to, as it brings up, and I said we're going to add a little brown sugar to it, maybe about half what you got there.
The whole thing?
About half that
half
container.
Of this?
Yeah. Okay. And we'll let that dissolve in there, and I'm working that in. And that's good. And then let's add the cocoa powder. And that's a semi-sweet cocoa powder, and that's where we're getting our mocha out of. Okay?
Neat. These are great ingredients.
Yeah. Go ahead and add the whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah, dump the whole thing.
Sure.
Why not?
We're living it up.
And so we're going to adjust that a little bit, and then we're going to do what we call in French cooking a Montbeurre. We're going to basically, as we bring this down, we're going to add some butter to this and finish the sauce. We're going to let that come up to a boil here first.
Before we add the butter.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for that, it looks like it is an opportunity to do our second dish.
Our second dish is plantains. I wanted to show this. This is not a rotten banana.
That's what I asked him when I first thought.
But this plantain is actually very in the ripe stage right now.
It's what you're looking for at the store, right?
What you're looking for at the store. Well, sometimes you want a green banana it depends on your application, but mostly for mashing and for, at this point, it's got it's real sweet. It's almost like you can eat it like candy.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to go ahead and cut this down.
Now, this is already boiling. Should I start adding the butter?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
But just
you're waiting for something else to happen.
Yeah, we're just going to let that reduce just a little bit more, bring all the flavors. I'm just peeling off the banana here. The skin, I'm sorry. Put that off to the side. And we just cut this down to...
Into like little chunks.
Little chunks, and we're going to add it. And we're going to bring this in a little salted water and boil that for bring it to a boil, cook it for about 10 minutes.
Right.
That's all it really takes. And it all depends on how much, like any potato, you want to get to a point where you'll be able to mash it. And we're just going to add some ingredients, add some sour cream, some cumin, salt and pepper. I got some toasted pumpkin seeds.
Yum.
And a little lime. What I found too is with the plantains, when you cook it and you eat it, has a little bit of, I don't know if a better choice of words, it's got a little earthy, musty kind of flavor. Adding the lime juice takes that away.
Fantastic. All right, so we've got a lot to do. We're going to finish up this sauce here for the steaks. Right. And then in the next segment, we've got something great with some chayote squash.
Chayote squash.
So we'll work on that. A lot to do here. So we'll come back in our next segment and kind of finish all of it up. Kelly? Helping Chef Bob here in the kitchen, putting the plantain dish here. And you mashed up the plantains, and what did you add to it?
I did the butter and sour cream.
butter, sour cream, all right.
And then we did some cumin in there, little scallion, and I think I had some toasted pumpkin seeds, just for a little bit of texture.
He let me taste it, and it's wonderful. The pumpkin seeds are really a great addition. And you've got one last dish that you're working now.
Chayote Squash. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's a squash usually used a lot in Latin dishes.
Looks like a pear.
Looks like a pear. You just basically peel it and take there's a little seed in here. I took that out. And then we're going to slice it down. And we're just doing a quick saute on here.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to add with some other flavor. It's really a neutral type flavor to it. And we're going to add this in and hurry it up because I told we have to hurry up.
Because everyone wants to eat. That's why. So you've got the... Got the olive oil in there, hot pan.
And you don't. I'll let you stand back since you don't have an apron on.
I'm gonna move away.
That's all right.
And watch the master at work.
And we're gonna just add the squash in. Actually, we'll let the onions usually kind of brown a little bit more, just because we want to let it, work in there. And release some of the sugars and whatnot. Okay, so we got that going.
Let folks at home know if they're going to make this at home. Maybe a little bit more time on that. All the how-tos, the ingredients are all online at thehamptonroadshow.com. So in the meantime, after you cook it a little bit, you're going to add the rest of the ingredients right there?
Right, rest of the ingredients, and then we're going to add the peppers, and I have a little bit of jalapeno pepper.
The steaks are here, by the way, came out of the oven. How long did you put them in for?
I just put them in for another 5 minutes, just to get them hot. And we're going to do...
I'm going to plate them up with some healthy portions here on the plate for all of us. In the meantime, we're going to finish that up, plate everything up, and we're going to eat at the end of the show. Carrie?